My name is Rob Valdez. I live in Florida and I work for Novogradac. My title is Product Owner and Director of Business Intelligence. That means that I help out the firm with innovation and analytics. A lot of what we're trying to do right now is especially focused on the efficiency of the audit, both through different procedures, as well as leveraging data to understand our audit practice even better. We're interested in the things that Caseware offers, both for us to reimagine our procedures and reduce our amount of work papers, as well as to have a better understanding and monitoring of the data through things like Sherlock, which allows us to take an overall holistic view of the entire audit portfolio. And so that means that we can actually look at a huge volume of audits that we complete, more than 10,000 audits, approaching 15,000 audits, and we can actually see how long it's taking us on average to complete these audits, and then how is that average changing over time. And so we're tracking that type of a benchmark and then attempting to look at ways to shave off opportunities to maintain very high quality and yet drive even greater efficiency along the way. We know that it takes somewhere in the neighborhood of approximately 40 hours to complete many of these different audits. So for people who have a long history of auditing, they'll realize that this is really flying through a very efficient audit. And that means that you can trim off very small amounts of time, but multiplied over the entire portfolio of audits that can really scale up to great savings and benefits. That's where it starts to get really interesting. And honestly, that's one of the reasons that we're very excited about exploring Sherlock, so that we can start to sub-segment our practice more and more and look at different sub-segments of our real estate practice broken down by different tax incentives or different approaches into the different types of audits that we're doing, and kind of dive into different granularity of detail and see where we can actually stand to benefit even more in certain engagements than in others. Something that's really inspiring from Caseware is how much planning they're doing around the analytics to support the audit. So there's analytics of the audit practice, but then there's actually substantive analytic procedures and preliminary and final analytics as actually part of the audit. And Caseware is developing a number of features and a number of products, and in combination with CPA.com, planning on how they can provide more analytics to support our auditors. And then, of course, in addition to that, the fact that they're so user-centric and user-driven, constantly soliciting our feedback, being very willing to engage us and receive that feedback, and then actually plan that into the roadmap, is something that really creates a nice partnership between our firm and Caseware. My advice to any firm that's considering Caseware is to reach out and make a relationship with the account executive that would be appropriate for their firm, because what they're going to find is something that's very different between Caseware and other solution providers in the marketplace, is that Caseware actually maintains an interactive dialogue. There is an active listening and then response and feedback loop that you can actually observe. There's a lot of great solution providers out there in the marketplace that have their way of doing it. They're going to offer it to you and you either take it or leave it. And that's fine. That's their way of doing business. But Caseware is putting the user and the customer at the center of the conversation, listening to that feedback, acting upon it, and then sharing their plans with us. And it's something that really creates a different type of experience. So for anybody who's thinking about adopting Caseware, I invite them to open up and start that conversation.